Hello, my dear viewers. Today we told about very important and very interesting aspect of public communication, about the mechanism of social influence in public communications. We'll talk about the concept of social influence, about specificity and structure of social influence, and about mechanisms of social influence. In general, social influence involves intentional or unintentional efforts to change another person's behaviors, beliefs, attitudes. Unlike persuasion, which is typically intentional and requires some degree of awareness of the part of target, social influence may be inadvertent or accidental. Social influence is the influence, direction, and method of which is determined by the social automatism of response built into us by the people around us, by society as a whole. As a result, people can change their thoughts, emotions, and behavior as a consequence of what other people do to them, including as a result of targeted influence and manipulation. And social influence is based on subtle automatism of human behavior, and its feature is that it's practically not recognized by individuals as manipulations, because it acts on them at a subconscious level. We know different types of social influence. First of all, it's functional role influence, a type of influence, the nature, directions, and intensity of which is determined not by the personal properties of the partners, but their role positions. Next, it's individual specific influence, transmission by an individual to other people of personal traits in the form of patterns of personal activity. Next is psychological influence, influence in which executively psychological means are used in interpersonal interactions with the aim of influence the state, thoughts, and feelings of another people. And personal influence, influence in which the personal qualities, characters, traits, charisma of a person are able to influence other people, the encouragement, stimulation, deterrence, persuasion, changing not only behavior, but also views, motives, consciousness, and character. The structure of social influence include the subject of social influence, the object of social influence, goals of social influence, actions in the structure of social influence, and results of social influence. And we know different target of social influence. First of all, it's motivating activity, needs, interests, inclinations, ideas. Next, it's regulations of activity, regulators of activity, semantic, target and operational attitudes, group norms, self-esteems, world views, convictions, and beliefs. Next, it's information structure of activity, knowledge about the world, people, information that provide information for human activity. Next, operational composition of activity, way of thinking, behavior, style, habits, abilities, skills. And next, mental states associated with the implementation of various forms of activity, background, functional, emotional. And talking about the social influence, we know one very famous specialist in the sphere of social influence. It's Robert Cialdini. He's a professor of psychology and marketing, president of international consulting firm, and author of the bestseller The Psychology of Influence, which has been published in over 3 million copies and translated into the 30 languages. And Robert Cialdini researched on the psychology of compliance, studying methods of obtaining consent, and concluded that although there are thousands of them, most fall into the one of 6 categories. Each of the categories correspond to one of the fundamental principles of human behavior. There are reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, authority, liking, and scarcity. So, first mechanism of social influence is reciprocity. This principle is based on the idea that people tend to return favors or kindness when someone does something for them. Then someone receives a gift, favor, or help, they often feel obligated to reciprocate the kindness. Cialdini suggests that businesses, for example, can offer free samples, trials of gift to customers, leading to a sense of indebtedness and increases sales. And we need to know that this mechanism is also based on the automatism of our psyche, which can be explained in evolutionary terms. Humanity survived because it was involved in the mechanisms of social exchange, and social sharing is a social desirable behavior. Those who are not involved in social exchange are not perceived by society. Next principle is principle of commitment and consistency. People have a natural tendency to act consistently with their part commitment and beliefs. Once someone has committed to a specific course of action or expressed in opinion, they are more likely to follow those with related request. Cialdini decided that the importance of obtaining small commitment and building from these to gain larger commitments or behavioral change. This mechanism is also an example of social acceptance behavior because being kind and grateful is socially attractive and can motivate other people to do the same. Next principle is principle of social proof. Social proof is the idea that people tend to follow the behavior of others, especially in uncertain and ambiguous situation. This principle is often seen in action when people look to the action of others to determine the appropriate course of action. Testimonials and sentiments and the wisdom of crowd are examples of social proof used in marketing persuasion. So the simplest way for choosing a line of behavior is conditions of assertedly to do like other. We choose a line of behavior in a difficult situation, focusing on other, and it really helps us successfully cope with many problems. Next interesting principle of social influence is the principle of authority. People tend to respect and follow the advice or guidance of individuals perceived as authorities or experts in a particular field. Authority figures can significantly influence decisions, and individuals often assume that experts have valuable knowledge and insight. And Cialdini suggests that presenting oneself as a credible authority can enhance persuasion. The main meaning of manipulation influence in this field boils down to the exploitation of the fact that most often people do not respond to the authority as such, but to what their symbols represent. ranks, titles, clothes, car brands, etc. And grander the titles, brander clothes, and a cooler car, the more respect many of us will have for their owners. Next principle of social influence is the scarcity principle. The scarcity principle is rooted in the notion that people are motivated by the fear of missing out of valuable opportunities or research or that are limited or in a high demand. Creating a sense of urgency of scarcity can drive people to take action. Marketing exploitation such as limited time offers or while supplies last appears capitalized to this principle. Next is principle of liking. This principle is based on the idea that people are more likely to say yes to those who know, like, and trust. Building rapport and establish a generous connection with others can enhance the likelihood of influencing them, and similarity, compliments, and shared interest as are factors that can contribute to liking. So, as a conclusion, I can say that Cialdini's work on this sixth mechanism of social influence has practical application in various fields, including marketing, sales, negotiations, and everyday interpersonal interactions. And understanding this principle can help individuals, the organization, become more effective communicators and persuasive, while also raising awareness about the potential for manipulation and exploitation through these mechanisms. So in this slide, you can see the useful references, including the link for interview of Dr. Robert Cialdini, A Secret of Psychology of Influence, and a link for online course Influencing People on the Coursera portal. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for your attention. See you soon. Bye.